Good morning. I'm Robin Fredrickson, and today is July 24th, 2026. You may have heard me talk about being a scientist for 12 years and thinking a lot about how we decide what's true. I thought I'd use this video to tell you about a framework that I use for myself to help with that. And I'll end with a challenge for you, a kind of homework, if you will. So the framework is really pretty simple. We all live in three worlds. The first world is the world as we want it to be, the world as we wish it to be. So I grew up watching Star Trek, and I would love to live in a post-scarcity world where everybody has everything they need. But I recognize that the world that I wish for, it isn't the world that actually is. The second world is the world as we perceive it to be. A lot of scientists and philosophers think this way, not just me. Our brains gather information from the world around us through our eyes, ears, nose, and all of our senses. And our brains run models to understand what's happening. Psychologists refer to this as theory of mind when applied to other people and animals, and models of the world when we're thinking about natural stuff like falling objects or passing cars or, crossing the street. We use theory of mind to predict or guess why people are doing things now and what they might do in the future. Babies do this as early as 18 months old. Now, the third world is the world as it actually is. Take a look around. Our problem is that we can't see everything in the world. We can't know what other people are thinking or what their future plans really are. We know our models fail because we've all been deceived or scammed. We've been lied to by people, governments, corporations, and politicians. We get bad information from news sources, for example, about what our own government is doing in Iran or what data brokers and social media companies are doing with all of our private data. So let me list the three worlds again, because repetition is good for memory. There's the world as we wish it was, the world that we perceive or as we think it is, and the world as it actually is. We need to emphasize this part. There are differences between what we want and what we think the world is like. And sometimes dogs bark at us. There are differences between what we think the world is like and how it really is. And when we take action to make the world better, we're guided by the second world, how we perceive the world to be. And here's what the framework exposes. When our perceived world doesn't reflect the real world well enough, then the effectiveness of our actions is reduced or even backfires. So it's extremely important to me to be able to see the world as it actually is. Being honest about my own biases and accepting that the information I get is limited evidence that I have to weigh. It's impossible for us as individuals to personally verify everything we're told. It's just impossible. I'm not going to test the theory of gravity every day to figure out if it's changed because there's just not enough time. So we all search out trustworthy news sources to help us. Now here's your challenge. Ask yourself if your perception of the world is accurate. Have you checked to see, really checked, honestly checked, to see if what you believe the world to be is off kilter because your sources of news are feeding you bad information? Do you track if influencers, people who are persuaders, are actively lying to you or using psychological tactics that leverage human weaknesses built into our brains to convince you that something is true that actually isn't? All right, that's my challenge. Thanks for watching, be safe, and have a great day.